Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Roundabout. You can tell we have some new digs here, which is awesome. We're so excited. So thank you, Jack and his team. Of course, I'm talking about Jack Hudson, not third person. So excited for episode 3. A little different than the first 2 that we've had because you've had a lot going on over the last couple weeks from our last one, obviously announcing an exciting new brand, an exciting new opportunity for our community. But between that and today, there's been a lot going on. And so I figured we'd gonna really focus around 3 topics today. And that first one we're going to talk about is the CNO, space.
Yes.
Because the amount of opportunity that's there, and I love the way that you and your team are approaching this. Really a great opportunity and very innovative and creative. Now, and I think I'm excited about it. I think that's exciting to see what could be and what the potential could be. And so I would love to learn more about how you guys got to that point of this is how we want to present it to the public and kind of what your vision for this process looks like.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this because it is super fun and exciting. And for those who may be newer to Carmel, Conseco at one point had several thousand employees in Carmel. And Conseco, now known as CNO Insurance, is one of our first, if not the first, large employer. And like many companies do, they grow, they shrink, they change, they evolve. And right now they have a few hundred people. They're largely on the US 31 corridor in the building that Open Lane built.
Yeah.
So the CNO campus is bordered on the north by City Center, on the west by Pennsylvania, and then Congressional kind of curves through it from north to south to west. And it's 78 acres and 3 parcels. One of those parcels, Parcel C, has a building on it that's fully occupied. And then the other parcels, A and B, have 4 buildings. Only one has any kind of activity in it. So now if it's not done now, it will be soon. The utilities are shut off in the other buildings. And I know for those who might be listening saying, why? Why would you take these big buildings that house several thousand people and turn the utilities off? Well, we've talked before about the flight to quality.
Yeah.
That employers today, especially it was happening before COVID, but especially coming out of COVID on the other side, really want a space that's amenity rich.
Yep.
Beautiful. You got to get the people out of their homes, right? They've been used to having all the amenities in their home.
100%.
But coming into an office where it's empowering and inspiring and modern. And they want to be around an active area as well. So these campuses, which are in a sea of gray asphalt and very little traffic, are not inspiring and not what office owners want right now. So our opportunity is to now work with CNO, who's trying to sell this land. We own the zoning rights. That's why we matter.
100%.
And we can see it as Carmel's next great neighborhood. And also, kind of like Midtown was developed to be pedestrian-centric, as well as mixed use, we see that this space could do the same. So this came about through collaboration, which is the best way.
Oh, yeah.
City Council wanted the residents to be involved, as did I. We always loved the Parks Department involved. And in the past, the Parks Department might have been brought in at the very tail end of a process. And we want to make sure that they are front and center, engaged at the front end, because we want this to have very, I would say, rich park amenities in it. And this is our opportunity to do that. And also, Michael and his team do a great job doing these collaborative events, like for Bear Creek Park and others, where they ask the community what elements they want. So combine that with the fact we've got a lot of talent in the design world. We could have invited 50 different vendors to participate.
Right, sure.
We had to limit it to make sure that the community engagement piece was manageable. So we have 2 local firms and one that's in Cincinnati who's done work in Home Place, so knows Carmel very well. So we have those 3 doing something, concepts, right? That the community then can come in and weigh in on through an online portal and in 3 different places in the city. So super cool.
I love
Little
that.
different. I ran on a campaign where I said I wanted community engagement, and so did many of the city councilors. So this is an opportunity to put our money where our mouth is.
100%.
And also to educate people, because I don't think people really understand what it takes to develop an area that, in this particular case, is like a blank sheet of paper anymore. It's got a couple roads through it, but the blocks are very big, not like you'd see in Midtown where they're
Right.
2 or 3 blocks of, the streets are 2 or 3 blocks apart. This has very wide streets that are very widely distributed, and so people get to understand me a little bit better.
I just love that they get to that residents and our community gets to see a little bit more of that process, right?
Yes.
I think because there's a lot of times, especially when you were probably on the city council as well, where people sometimes think that these things happen overnight, that they're not 2-year plans,
Right.
3-year plans, long-term plans. And so I think what I love about this is the ability for the community to get an insight of like, look, this is our process and you're going to be a part of that. And,
Yeah.
and we are going to create something that the goal, I would imagine as well, is how do we take this and this high quality, including the parks, including our city, including our community, and then how do we revitalize an area that you have, really focused in on in that corridor, to expand it and grow it and make it. But you always need that first thing.
Exactly.
And I think you've set an awesome precedent of we can do it. And so that it's just like anything that's good to great is if we can do it great, then the next person's going to want to make it look great. Then the next person's going to want to make it look great. But it's got to start with something, right? And what a cool way to start something big, right? Like
Exactly.
engagement and those type of things. So kudos to you.
Thank
love
you.
that
It's
and
super.
your team. And
I'm excited to see what we get out of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the comments. It's the public is always funny. So there's always going to be one thing that surprises us, and it'll be interesting to see what takes off on this one. I would look forward to hearing that. And the community also may have some ideas that we never thought of, and that's the beauty of the engagement.
Right. I think that's and it's art sometimes.
Yes.
It's a piece of, I always say sometimes there's certain things in our lives and the things we do that are art. It's always perception. Marketing is art. It's a perception. Everyone has an opinion on it. That's the best part of art. And so I think that's what's going to be fun about the process for you guys. So thank you for that. I think that's going to be fun. And hopefully maybe a couple episodes from now, we can talk about, what that process has continued to look like. And maybe we have some idea of where we're at in that next, episode or two. So
I know. I hope what we know by the end of the year, and I'm a little bit Pollyanna-ish, probably maybe a little too aggressive, but I hope by the end of the year we'll have someone out there who's a developer who wants to do a special project that would be noticed across the U.S.
Yeah.
We'll take an interest in this land, see the thought and the care that went into developing this, what I'll call a mini master plan.
Yeah.
And say, I would love to partner with a community like Carmel, with the reputation of Carmel,
100%,
to bring this to life. So we'll see. There's a lot of uncertainty in the financial world.
If anybody's watching this,
You've got tens of millions of extra dollars sitting around.
But I think to
Hundreds of millions.
Carmel's credit, I think there's two things that I always tell people is there are so many projects that we can look at in Carmel that are transformational.
Yep.
And there are so many opportunities that when a business or a person is willing to take risks, the city gets behind it. And so, as a whole, not just as a municipality, but as a city gets behind it, there are probably a lot of those projects over the last 30, 40 years that whether you're a developer or you've invested in X, Y, and Z, that have really not only benefited the community, but probably benefited them as well by taking those risks. But I just remember anytime that there's projects that come to the OneZone side of the table to say, hey, what do you guys think of this? I always try to remind them that Carmel is a special place where we are used to transformational projects.
Yes.
And we promise you that if you build it at the quality and the level of expectation that we have, our people will embrace it.
Yes.
And I think there's so many good examples of that across our community.
Agree.
So.
And that, the big changes that Mayor Brainerd brought in, actually, I would have loved to really been around the time when he was trying to push the Monon Trail, because that's where the big remonstrance really was.
Yeah.
And, when people can't see and don't trust yet, it's very hard to enact change. And I feel like that would have been a fun time to see what kind of, see the pictures of people remonstrating against it. And I hope most now understand the incredible asset that has turned into for our community.
That's so fun. It's true. Well, topic 1, CNO. I can't wait. We did it. But more importantly, I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm super, super excited. Number 2, kind of from a mayor standpoint, Bloomberg, Harvard.
Yes.
I want to learn more. I want to know more, because what a amazing opportunity, and what an amazing way to support our amazing city. And so I want to learn more, and tell us a little bit more about, your time there and what this means for us as a city and what you learned while you were there.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because it's a Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative, supported 100% financially by Bloomberg Philanthropies. Mike Bloomberg was the mayor of New York for many years, and really felt like he could take what he had learned and also build up on the expertise of Harvard to build up mayors around the world, to make changes and make cities more effective to serve their residents. And again, what a gift.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So this particular cohort, it's the 9th year they've done it. So we're BH9, Bloomberg Harvard 9.
I love that.
Our class dubbed it the Divine 9. But it's comprised of 47 mayors from 17 countries and 5 continents. So you can imagine our challenges are vastly different. Yeah. But just seeing others' leadership styles in play, and getting to know them and their cities. One of the cities has 3.1 million people, but another 3 million come in every day to work or go to school.
Wow.
Big compared to Carmel, which is still a pretty good sized city at 106,000. But we met for the first time. We convened in New York City at the Bloomberg headquarters for 4 days. And we are ensconced with Harvard Business School and Harvard Kennedy School lecturers and experts, and then, of course, people representing Bloomberg as well. And they put us through an amazing series of educational opportunities where the program, every element, built on top of the next one. And when you looked at it from the end of the week, you're like, that was genius. Yeah. How's it all pulled together? And I have some things to share with you. I had to print it out because I couldn't remember step by step. So day 1 was around inspiring action and leading change. And it was really, basically, if you want action to occur and you want change to occur, you have to inspire that. Yeah. And so this was using the teachings of Marshall Gans, who, a social organizer, you might call him, was very big in the Obama campaign, and also, marched at Selma, right? So it's that's when he was getting out, I believe, in the middle of his college experience. Wow. So decades, and lots in between, decades of experience there. And he really worked with us on public narrative. And you could say, well, you can write a speech and deliver it, and it's really about your experience and how you deliver it. He gave us a framework to talk about, like, me, us, and now. Oh, wow. So why is it important for me, and why does this matter to us, and why now? And I'm going to be going through like 6 more sessions on that. It was optional, but I chose to do it because I feel like myself personally, I have so many things running through my head sometimes when I want to communicate an important issue. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I might get off track or not deliver the most poignant point right at the right time. Right. And so I'm going to take advantage of this. But the example of that me now, or me, us now framework might be, we'll say fentanyl overdoses are a big issue today. So maybe the me part might be someone saying, this is important to me because I grew up in a house with substance abuse, or I had a loved one die of a fentanyl overdose. And the why does this matter to us, and give statistics of the community that's happening and impacting that city. And then the now, it's like, now is, if we don't stop now, we're going to see more deaths and more, more public health costs and pain. So when you put all this together with storytelling, it becomes pretty powerful. Yeah. So that was a great first day. And, I think all of us felt kind of wiped out after that because it was a full day of pushing, but it was great. Wow. Day 2 is then to talk about teams. And Harvard's way of delivering information is, first of all, they all use chalkboards, which totally mesmerized me. The 6 chalkboards they were lifting up and rotating around and whatever, every single one of them. So that must be a thing. But the second day was talking about teams, and they always use case studies to teach from. And this case study was the Chilean mine collapse. Oh, yeah. In 2010, I believe it was, when 33 miners were caught under guard after 2,000 feet below ground. And, with the hardest rock possible, I think it was like a crazy, like 45-story piece of rock or something like that, blocking the entrance. So how do they get in and get them?
Right.
And they didn't know if it was going to be a rescue or recovery. So this case study compared and contrasted week by week what was happening underground for leadership and management and what was happening above ground for leadership and management.
Yeah.
And how the government and the public officials and the company work together and how these miners organize themselves in the space that they had. And it was just fabulous.
Holy cow.
Now, I still haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
I didn't watch it before. Now I really want to see it. I just didn't want to watch it before we had this because it would bias myself.
Wow.
But that's powerful. You can take back to your city, say, okay, how do we make sure and
I love that.
work together to deliver results, right?
Yeah.
And then we had a full day of that. We talked about operational excellence as well as another case study for the Danaher Business Systems, which is a way, the Butler way.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Danaher Business Systems way is the operational excellence existence, which is super exciting to me because that's what we're trying to achieve at the city of Carmel.
Right.
There's always so much work to do.
Yeah.
Day 3 was about accelerating progress and earning trust. And that was a couple of other good case studies. One was about the government accelerators in the United Arab Emirates. And so how they would pick something and accelerate it in one particular, they had 3 of them. One went well, one that never got off the ground, and one that went in between. So again, you could see yourself in all of those issues.
I love that.
How did they communicate? What data did they get? Yeah. Did they get it in a timely way? Did they engage the right people at the right time? It was a little, what I would call a little nerdier. I think our favorite as a class was the trouble. I think they say Tessei, Tessei. If anyone's a nerd and wants to look up the video, it's basically about the East Japan Railway Company, and they had a separate division. We'll say Tessei, and they were in charge of these bullet trains coming to these stations, and they have 12 minutes to stop and turn around. So the train comes in, they have 5 minutes to get people on and off, and 7 minutes to clean, the equivalent of 3 747s. It's like 8 people.
Yeah.
And so they had injuries, they had terrible morale, they had absenteeism, they didn't have good results. And so the whole case study is about this turnaround. And how did they take these people underperforming and they were treated poorly by both the passengers on the train, and they were even said, like, if you don't act well, little one, you'll be one of those people cleaning the train. Wow. And their bosses would yell at them. And so it was just a horrible work environment as well. And so the whole case study was, how do they turn these guys around to be high performing?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what they did was say, we're not a cleaning company, we're a hospitality company. And what are your ideas as an employee to make this better? And one of the first things they came out is like, can we bow to the train when it comes in and out of a sign of respect?
Wow.
And they turned it around. I'm not going to give it totally away, but go watch the video if you want. It's super cool. It's like a 7-minute video because they show you what happens in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
What's super cool about this whole case study was that now people can buy a ticket just to watch them clean the trains.
Oh my gosh, that's
can you imagine?
So cool.
Not just, and so the last thing they did before was lift up the shades when they were done. Now they lift up the shades in the beginning and let people see this precision, high-performing group of people who are so proud of what they do and are greatly appreciated by the very respectful culture that Japan has.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well,
really
there's
cool.
a lot of what you're saying could resonate so well. Obviously, you being an entrepreneur and business owner, so much of that, even though this was obviously with mayors and communities, so much of what you're talking about can be on the business side as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just unbelievable of, defining who you are, internal, external, when time is tough type piece, right? Organizational structure. I always love operations, so that's always my favorites too. But all of that stuff, it's, in essence, I don't want to say, because obviously municipal government is the budget is different, but you're leading people.
Yes.
And how do we become effective, and how do we become efficient? And we will never have, this as a business leader, you'll never have enough people.
Right.
You'll never have those things. But if you can drive culture, if you can drive operations, and at the end of the day, we always say in our organization, we are a high level customer service operations organization that happens to be a chamber.
Yep.
And I'm sure that you can resonate that even with your own community. And so what a cool experience to take back, And I always say, when you talk about the person with 6 million in their community at one time, or 3 million, I always tell my team when we go to like a national conference and there's, the Charleston Chamber and there's all these, other ones, I'm like, but listen and take one thing. Take one thing,
absolutely.
right? I mean, that's, as valuable as the 4 days probably was, it was probably those relationships of understanding, like, well, how do you do this? And how do you guys experience these things? And when you open up that vulnerability of, well, this is how we do it, or, we struggle with these things. I see that, I've been a part of HCLA. I saw that with HCLA. I've seen that with chamber cohorts, and I'm sure you experienced that as well. And probably not only this, but in other things. But when you are vulnerable and you are willing to learn and take that one piece, and how do we do that? I know you really well, so I'm sure there were 5,000 pieces that were like, oh man, we could implement that and this could do that. But what a powerful thing to be able to take back and serve the city of Carmel.
It's an amazing gift. And so it's a year-long program.
I love that.
So it's not just 4 days. So the cooler thing, I think, is they allow you to bring 2 senior leaders.
Oh, I love that.
Not for the week I was just at. They do their own track. So they can all complain about their mayors that they serve. It's like, cleansing for them.
Yeah.
But so I chose, rightly or wrongly, our police chief and our fire chief.
I love
which is
that.
such different than anyone else did. And so at first I was like a little taken aback that I choose wrong. And I know I didn't. But first of all, Chief Sterling and Chief Thacker are fantastic people and great leaders. And so I know they will contribute an incredible amount. Yeah. And by the way, they track your contribution. So if you haven't said enough, they will call on you. It's like very, you're not going to hide in these programs.
Yeah.
But the chiefs are also culture carriers. They're going to make sure that what they learn, they can apply within their organizations. And police and fire tend to be a city's biggest departments. Mm-hmm. Usually the biggest percentage of the city's budget, and also because of the length of time we've had police and fire in our worlds, the most entrenched in tradition, which is amazing from a connection to mission. But sometimes it's also maybe less likely to want to change because of the deep tradition. And so I think what we are going to be studying, we'll be tweaking a little bit. Basically, let me back up. So we have a project. We need to pick a priority that we work on all year long that we want to transform. And so we've chosen talent management.
Oh, I love that.
Both from how are we forming the role, to how we're identifying the candidate to recruit for a role, to how are we interviewing them and putting them through the process, how are we training them and onboarding them and then guiding them to success.
Yeah.
That may get chiseled at a little bit because we're at the very front end of this. We're not sure, since we haven't been through this before, how much time that'll take.
Yeah.
And if we can do that whole length of time, or if we have to make it smaller. But I'm excited about them and their contribution, and also what they'll get back, they can bring home. It's going to be exciting.
I love that.
So, yeah, very cool. And I think these relationships will get nothing but tighter. You could see, like, I immediately, just because we were when our first groups got connected to, just by happenstance, 2 other female mayors, but we were at the same table. And but they're also in cities that are similar in size, and one in Illinois and one in Louisiana. And so I'm really really looking forward to getting to know these guys better.
I love that. Well, that's awesome. I'm excited for the Chiefs too. That'll be fun for them to.
Yeah.
You have some good ones, so I'm sure the
I have the
contribution.
Best. I don't have good ones. Yeah. I have the best.
I'm sure they're going to contribute a ton.
Yeah.
I've been able to see, because when we think of police and fire, a lot of times it's the equipment. Do we have the best equipment? Do we have the best things to serve our residents? But then there's that other component that you're talking about is our talent. Those are tough jobs. Yeah. Tough jobs. Yeah. I've had my grandfather was a police officer. My dad's been a firefighter for 30 some years. It's a tough job. It's tough to just, when your shift's up, depending on how your shift ends and how it goes, you're supposed to go back and be a wife, a husband, a father, mother, those type of things. Yep. And so there's a lot of components that go into those. And so I appreciate, I guess, I always think of myself. I appreciate that you're investing in your chiefs to expand that, and look at the person and how do we, make them an overall the best person they can be and keep them in Carmel and have them and their career grow. I think that's huge.
Well, and also, how do we reduce the cost of onboarding
Yeah.
for highly compensated talent that's highly sought after? And we don't want to bring, let's say, 10 into a recruit class and only come out with 6 on the other end.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily that the 4 that didn't go through are failures, but it doesn't help the candidate and it doesn't help us if that doesn't go through to fruition. So how do we do that better? How do we also imagine this for the rest of the organization? If we do this right, or even 80% of the way right,
You're right.
we can influence the rest of the state of Indiana with what we learned and the rest of the departments in the city of Carmel. Yep. And that's the Bloomberg gift at work, right, where we can share it with others. And then, of course, the 46 other cohort people that are in my cohort can see what we did, too, because we'll get the benefit of all what they did as well.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited about it. Super fun, but it's a lot of work.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think it's 15 or 16 virtual sessions already planned, and we don't have all of them yet. Because the next thing they'll do is also put us in a track either for collaboration, innovation, or data. And they said every track has all 3. It's just you get based on your priority, you get slotted in one that's more heavy in the one. And so those will be a bunch more virtual sessions around those two.
I love that. Well, congrats. I think that is such a great asset for the city of Carmel.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Check. There you go. Well, my last one is really around our sister cities.
Yes.
It's been such an incredible opportunity since you've become mayor. We've got to sit down with the Japanese delegation.
Thank you for doing that with us too.
Truly. I mean, it was.
Tell everybody what it was like, because I enjoyed hearing you. And yes, I'm drinking my Superman Diet Coke.
I love it. Well, I can tell you from my perspective, that was the first time where we as the chamber has been invited to it, so thank you. And I will tell you the first thing I thought was pretty funny was it was on my calendar it was for 2.5 hour lunch, and I was like, 2.5 hours? What are we going to talk about for 2.5 hours? And we went to our lunch, and it was an amazing aha moment where you realize that the person you're sitting in front of doesn't speak the same language as you. And so there's an interpreter, we had, I think, 2 or 3 interpreters. Oh. And what a powerful thing to get to know somebody when the first thing is that neither one of you speak the same language, right? And at the beginning, it was, hi, my name is Jack. It was interpreted back and forth. And by the end of the lunch, it was the poor interpreter was having to catch up because there were so many ideas being shared and things like that. And I don't know. It's just something about that I think you learn not only from that lunch, but I think I felt like it from a personal standpoint is what a powerful thing to get to know another person from thousands of miles away, hundreds of miles away, they're thousands of miles away, and build a relationship through one person and interpreting. I just thought, and then of course we get to what I did think was funny was Chief Sterling and they did say, well, you guys are very young. And they said it 3 or 4 times. You guys are very young. And of course, Chief Sterling and I were laughing. But to learn their culture, to learn the things that they are so proud of. We are always proud of the things that go on in Carmel, but to watch what they're so proud of in their community. And it's almost like looking in a mirror where you're like, gosh, that's what we sound like. Yes. We love our roundabouts. We love these things. We love our community. We love it, right? And then in return, they're telling you all the great things about their community. And there's something powerful because no matter where you are, when you both sides of the table are passionate about their communities and want to learn more about each other, it was I could have stayed there another hour listening. The gentleman I spoke with was he was very funny. One of the things he talked about was, I believe it's called sake, the alcohol. He's like, we make great sake. You need to go get some. You need to buy some. And I was like, we have Sun King. Have you ever had Sun King? And so we even shared that around each other. Our passions. What do you enjoy to drink? What do you enjoy to eat? They're heavily invested in their parks department. They're heavily invested in the same things we are. And it's so cool. So I'm sorry for my long-winded answer to that, but that's what I loved about it. Is it's a group of people who both love their communities and love each other's communities to figure out ways to make them better.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I got out of it, but also just I felt like I think anybody feels like they get into a routine, and you take for granted sometimes the things that you are doing, the things you're accomplishing, the things that you're able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when somebody from Japan tells you, like, I can't believe you guys do that. I can't believe, and you're like, there's that feeling of, wow, we're doing something special here. It's bigger than ourselves. It's bigger than what we're trying to, those tedious things that we're doing equal a result of something. And so that's long-winded, but I do think that's what I took from it. Was like, I got motivated. I was like, we are doing great things in this city as a business community or business entity. How do we challenge ourselves to think bigger? Because there's people in Japan that are watching us. There's people in different countries that are watching us. Obviously, us at a much smaller scale than the actual city, but we're a part of that. We're a piece of that. And so I brought that back to my team and was like, of course, immediately, of course, you know me well enough. I was just like, okay, we got to go bigger. We got to do these things. But it was powerful. It was
It does get you out of your with your blinders on, right?
Yeah.
I'm focused on Carmel. You're focused on Carmel Fisher's businesses.
Yeah.
And when you have these conversations, and the whole thing is built around people-to-people diplomacy, that we can learn and understand culture and our worlds by understanding people. And if you have more empathy for a person, that I can know what we met a family from Venezuela on our trip to France last year on our vacation, and I think of them all the time with the headlines in Venezuela.
Yeah.
And it means more now when I see a headline.
Yeah.
One of the kids that we met from Venezuela, the son of the family we met, they'd had 3 or 4 kids grabbed off the street for using their cell phone. Think about that. Yeah. And so right after we got home from France, there was a headline that 26 kids were released from prison. And I was like, oh my gosh, thankfully this kid's friends are out of jail, right? So I think now, both with the Bloomberg Harvard initiative, where I've got now 47 new friends around the world, and also then these amazing experiences we have with our sister cities, it does make you more aware of what's happening, whether it be an earthquake or whether it be a senseless act of violence, or whether it be an economy, some of these tariff conversations. It all just makes it more acutely aware. But it's all all impacts our community, as you've heard me say, right? 110 languages, 90 different countries. Yeah. There's people living or has come from all around the world to choose to live in Carmel, and they all have different experiences. And if these sister city relationships help us see differently.
Yes.
Help us ask better questions. Have us have more empathy. So the sister city relationship, we just got an award for the best sister city relationship in 2024 for cities 100,001 or to 300,000. So we went out and grabbed the award. I thought it was super important to be there in person because I wanted to learn from other sister cities. Now, fortunately, that didn't quite happen like we thought because our flight was totally messed up all day. But we sat at this awards dinner with people from Washington State, and there's a couple of people from Jasper, Indiana. There's people from Owensboro, Kentucky, just in our general region. Yeah. But from all around the United States. But the best thing was the keynote speaker was Mary Jean Eisenhower. It was her grandfather, Ike, who started the Sister City program.
That's amazing.
And so she talked about her grandfather and now she's run that foundation for years and years and years. And it was after a conversation with her grandfather that A Small World song was written.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was kind of interesting that's the impetus, that it really is a small world, that we are connected in so many ways if we just stop and take a moment and ask. So what we do with our programs, and again, thank you for Mayor Brainerd for investing in it for years and years, is set up exchanges for ideas, for people, and for culture. And the sky's the limit. The reason we got the award was because our calendar was packed last year, was their words. Yeah. I don't think we even submitted all of that we did. And so, from book exchanges to Zoom calls to visits. When I went to France on vacation, I stopped by our sister city. And because I'm like, I'm never going to be probably in this region again. I'm going to take advantage of it. And so I got to see Rouen Malmaison, and Malmaison is the country estate that Josephine bought for her and Napoleon to stay in. And so that's their big tourism piece. Yeah. In a very, 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 very dense suburb of Paris. Wow. But anyway, I just feel like these exchanges are really interesting. And one I'm working on for this year, I don't know if we'll pull it off this fall or if we can do it next year, is to have chefs from our sister cities
that'd be awesome.
zoom in to the kids at Carmel High School, because they have a newly renovated culinary area. They get big screens where we can have the chefs demonstrating something or talking them through sushi or a amazing French sauce or, an Italian pasta recipe or pizza. And then the kids at the prep stations even working on something. So all 3 mayors I talked to are super excited about getting chefs set up. So I've got to reach out to assistant principal. I was given a name to reach out to. But the sky's the limit. We've sent police officers over to Latvia, and we've had them come with us. And which is very interesting because they have a national police model. We have a local police model. So it's just a matter of do we have enough time and emphasis, but everyone who's been around it feels touched for the better.
Yeah. Well, I feel like one of the things we talked about when we looked at the new brand, the new opportunity, the new who we are, is to share ourselves more with the world. Not that we haven't done that, but to continue to share ourselves with the world through your program, through our Sister Cities program. That's what you're doing, is sharing our story more with the world, with a lot of the cultural events and programs that you've put together. So if people feel as though while Carmel's home, that the piece of home is with them. That's just, all those building blocks put together build a community, right? And I think that's credit to you and your team of understanding that, and how do we build it and how do we continue. And I'm sure we're going to continue to strengthen the Sister Cities program, and you'll learn a lot. I mean, you are learning a lot from the Bloomberg piece of it as well. And so it's a fun journey, I'm sure. I mean,
it is.
How is that, and I have this on the agenda, but how's that, this last couple of months as you've experienced these things, how as you as the mayor, how do you feel? How do you feel like your city? I mean, it's just from the outside, I get so much energy from it because you get to see all these great things. But for someone that's in a leadership role as the mayor of doing these big things and tackling these things, how does that make you feel? How does that?
Proud, right? Because our community is incredible. It's a lot of work, but it energizes me. So sure, I get physically tired, but mentally I'm always like, let's go. What's next? Let's just schedule something else. I think that
I love that.
I'm trying to be really intentional. Like I'm an activator. At my heart and soul, I'm a persuader, promoter, and activator. I promote the heck out of something, then I'm going to lead the charge to do it, right? And so that is just me. I'm trying to be super intentional, just check a step a little bit. And so, okay, we just had this experience. We just had this learning. How can we best apply it?
You're right.
And not just blow past it and just know we got that done. So a good example is Kelly, who is our Douglas, who's our marketing director, was wanting to do kind of an extension of our. When you rebrand or when you're working on brand with something, you're talking about living the brand, right? It's not good enough to say this is who we are, what we stand for. Then you also have to do it,
right?
And so the way you carry on with work, the way you treat your employees, the way your facility looks, the way your materials are written, the way your press releases come out, all that has to kind of build around that core essence of your brand. And so we've been talking about how do we make sure our employees understand it and live the brand. And of course, every single day, you have employees whose personal experiences change, or they come and go as people retire or start with the organization. And that is like an amoeba who's constantly evolving. That's the hardest piece, is living the brand with all your employees. And the bigger number of employees you have, the harder it gets. So you have to be super intentional with that as well.
Yeah.
So she was talking about since our tagline is built for big dreams, how are we talking about the dream team inside the house? What does it look like? What does it sound like?
Yeah.
It's kind of it's like trying on a coat that doesn't quite fit. I'm not sure. But this experience at Harvard, when we're talking about that testy train situation, I'm probably saying it totally wrong. Can't remember. Anyway, it hit me that the way this dream team will work is if we connect a mission. And because people don't work for the city of Carmel, I mean, some may work for the city of Carmel for the benefits. But the reality is people work for the city of Carmel because they want to help others, and they're proud of the city that they serve. And so how do we tie that in? And so we're going to be doing a series of videos. I think the first one might be one of the amazing employees. I think in this particular, we've got one of our female employees who waters all of our flowers. We have 950 flower baskets, right?
Yes.
Kind of like the train thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, I just water flowers.
Yeah.
But if you think of that bigger, I am creating a beautiful environment for our families to absolutely flourish.
Yeah.
That's a different frame than just
100%.
I'm out there watering plants.
Yeah.
And so we want to tell that story because I guarantee you hear her talk, and you understand it's a mission and a dream team.
Yeah.
And so we're going to find those employees. There's a couple key employees that clean Midtown. Again, you're like, I'm just cleaning Midtown. Oh, no.
Right.
They're creating a safe space for kids to roam and families to be together in today's hectic life.
I love
Those are the stories I want to
Yeah.
tell. And that's how I think I can be most effective as a leader, is to let our employees shine,
Right.
be who they are, but let the world see that. And literally the world see that.
Yeah.
Because I want people to tell the story like, hey, they're taking someone down Main Street. It's like, oh, look at these baskets, beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a lady that does it. You know why she does this, right? Or
Yeah.
you see someone, and maybe they'll pick up more trash on their own and after Midtown too. But
Yes, because there's a face behind it. They know
but now
who's
there's a
cleaning.
face behind it. It's
Yes.
like, there's someone who really cares for the space and appreciate the fact that, someone scraped up the melted cheeseburger off the turf, right?
Yeah.
And someone want you to have a beautiful space today.
Yep.
And I think
I love that.
that's how we can make a difference in how we communicate. And yeah, we'll always have the road work press releases, right?
Oh, yes.
Those will
Oh,
still
yes.
come out.
And people
Another
appreciate
roundabout.
those.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of roundabouts,
Yes.
August 1, number 157 comes online.
Okay.
So for
I
those
love
of you
it.
who can never remember how many roundabouts we have.
157.
157, August 1st.
Okay, I love that. I love it. Well, I love that you're sharing the story too. Plus, anytime I'm in Carmel, or this is kind of my life, is I always tell my family, well, did you know? And my sister will always go, what, Jack? What did you know? And so I want to watch so I can say, did you know that these things?
Yep.
And that way I can get an eye roll from my sister. So I appreciate
Well, you have to grade us, right? Because I think we're going to try to do a little bit of a day in the life, like mini
I love
documentary,
that.
where it's natural sound. You see the employee work with talk over, and I think it'd be a little bit different.
Kind of mic'd up.
Exactly. But we're not doing dirty jobs.
No,
we're
no, no.
not doing that.
I love that. Well, Mayor, thank you as always.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I've absolutely loved doing these podcasts, and this one's a little different. Not set theme.
Yeah.
It's just from the last time we talked to today, there's a lot going on, and but I think it's important for our business community and for those that watch this to know there's a lot that goes on between one podcast to another.
Yes.
We probably didn't even hit on 10, 15, 20 different items that you could have done.
That's okay.
But thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we've made it 3 episodes. So so far, so good. We're doing it.
The network hasn't pulled the
No one's pulled the network, but we're good. So, well, thank you, Mayor, so much.
Thank you
Truly
so
appreciate it.
much.
Thank
Have a
all
good
of
one.
you.